Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing a rating of every Bengals position group. Um, Today might be a bit of a shorter video, and I hope to post every day, but and I have been keeping up with that so far, but in the future, if I am not able to post every day, I apologize. I'm pretty busy with, school and other Bengals projects I'm working on, and it's really hard to focus on all of these Bengals projects while doing a podcast daily on top of that. So if I can't make a video every day, or I can't make a super long video or something like that, then I do apologize. I am trying my best, and let's get into the video. So first off, our first position group for the Cincinnati Bengals is the quarterback position group. So we have Joe Burrow, Joe Flacco, Josh Johnson, and Sean Clifford. So, alright, I will try to be as unbiased as popular. I will try to be as unbiased as I can. And, so obviously, Joe Burrow, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback in the league. And I think it's really good that we're adding, veterans. I think Joe Flacco, he's a very old player, but I think his veteran experience and his experience in the NFL really helped last season when Joe Burrow was injured. And I honestly think Joe Flacco had a really shocking performance for a lot of people. I think he did a lot better than people expected. And I think we added Josh Johnson this season and this off season, and another veteran who I think it's very good to have veteran players who have experience and can help players. And I think because of the Bengals quarterback one, I'm going to have to give the quarterback category I didn't specify I'm going to be going from like S tier to all the way to F tier. So it'll be S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier. Oh, this is I wanna give it an S tier because of Joe Burrow, but because of our other three quarterbacks, I feel like we don't have as much talent. And obviously, you're not gonna have like an amazing quarterback too. You're not supposed to, but I don't think all three of these players are like amazing. I don't think they're that good. I think one thing about veterans is that they are older, so it's harder for them to play. Wow, this is really tough. I think I'm either gonna have to go A plus or like S, like an S minus, because I think Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I think I'm gonna have to go either A plus or S minus tier for the quarterback position. And moving on to the wide receiver position group, we have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yosivach, Colby Young, Keyshawn Williams, Mitch Tinsley, Charlie Jones, Kendrick Pryor, Xavier Johnson, Noah Thomas, Dante Myers, and Jordan Moore. And I don't have a great understanding of all of these players, but I've been starting to put in a lot of effort into researching the Bengals, so I hope to one day know a lot about all these players. But unfortunately, I do not know about all these players. But at the same time, the category will be more um like I don't know how to explain it, but like talking about like a wide receiver 10 won't be as important as talking about our wide receiver 1 through 3. So I think like these will be more important to talk about, and I do know more about these players. So first off, we have Jamar Chase. In my opinion, he's an S tier receiver. He had 1,412 yards last season with 3 different quarterbacks, which is insanely hard to do. And in his rookie season, he had 1,455 yards. And in 2024, he had 1,708 yards, which is the most receiving yards. Most receiving yards in a single season in Bengals history. And I think this guy still has a lot more in the tank. He's only 26, I believe. Either 26 or 27, but I think he's 26. So he's still really young. Wait. Yeah, I think he's 26. And T. Higgins is 27. But yeah, no, Jamar Chase, I mean, top 3 receivers in the league for me. Amazing talent. When Joe Burrow's healthy the whole season, he's going to be... I mean, even when Joe Burrow wasn't healthy the whole season, he was still a huge threat, and he obviously performed amazing. And next up, we have T. Higgins, who I still don't think T. Higgins gets enough recognition. He's a really, really big, tall guy. Uses his body a lot. He's a big body player. He's a great, great one-on-one player. I mean, if you go one-on-one against T. Higgins, Joe Burrow or whichever quarterback is playing, hopefully Joe Burrow only, unless we're like destroying the team and they just bring in the backups. But yeah, I think like a lot of the time Joe Burrow has a lot of confidence in T. Higgins, and if T. Higgins is getting a one-on-one, Joe Burrow is throwing that ball to T. Higgins, and we've seen a lot of these successful catches by T. Higgins. Bengals versus Buffalo Bills in that one of the later games last season. That was an incredible game. Joe Burrow threw up a very, very high ball to T. Higgins, and T. Higgins, it was a toe tap touchdown catch, and those are just some of the things that he can do. And I think T. Higgins is a great one-on-one player, uses his size to his advantage. Another example of that was in 2024, I think, when the Bengals played the Vikings and Jake Browning was like about to get sacked, and he tossed up a ball to T. Higgins, and it was probably one of the craziest plays I've ever seen for the Bengals. T. Higgins mossed a defender, and as he was getting tackled out of bounds, with his super long hands, he extended the ball into the end zone for a touchdown, and that play kind of showed how he uses his height and length to his advantage. So I think T. Higgins is also an amazing player. He has had 1,000-yard receiving seasons, and I think he has more to come. Andre Yosivach, another taller player who I also believe is underrated. I mean, obviously, he's not going to get like a crazy amount of targets because you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at wide receiver 1 and 2. But I think Andre Yosivach he's only improving. I really do think he's underrated. And like I said, I think he has a similar playing style to T. Higgins. He uses his size to his advantage. Just a very solid wide receiver and very young. So I think, once, obviously T. Higgins is 27, so getting on the older side, but he's still pretty young. But I think once T. Higgins starts to get older, Andre Yosivach is going to fill in that wide receiver too. And I think he's going to have a very successful career. We also have Colby Young, who who the Bengals drafted in the fourth round, I believe, and Keyshawn Williams, who we signed from the Steelers in the offseason. Players like Mitch Tinsley, who was the wide receiver 3 for the Bengals last season. Charlie Jones, who is the punt and kick returner. He might. No, he's the punt and kick returner, I believe. Yeah, Charlie Jones. He's a wide receiver, but he also punts and receives the ball, and he's really good at that position. And yeah, those are, I would say, the players I have a good understanding of, and I think the Bengals have one of the best receiving cores in the NFL, and it's also really hard to not put them in the S tier. Oof, wow, this is really tough. Oh my gosh, this is like, yeah, this is this is really tough. I also want to go S tier. Oh my gosh, I think I have to do the same rating for the quarterbacks. I'm gonna say either A plus or an A, or like an S minus. Honestly, I really love this receiving core, and I think they're still gonna be an amazing receiving core next season. Next up, we have the defensive line, which includes Dexter Lawrence II, Boye Mafe, B.J. Hill, Miles Murphy, Shamir Stewart, Jonathan Allen, Cassius Howell, Chris Jenkins Jr., T.J. Slayton Jr., Landon Robinson, Cedric Johnson, McKinley Jackson, Jordan Jefferson, Howard Cross III, and Isaiah Foskey. So, like I said, some of these players I do not know a lot about, but I can definitely talk about a lot of our big signings, like Dexter Lawrence, Boye Mafe, Jonathan Allen, and then we drafted Cassius Howell in the second round. I am super happy with what the Bengals have done this offseason on the defense, and specifically on the D-line. Obviously Dexter Lawrence, an amazing defensive tackle, one of the best in the league, and I am really excited to see what he does on the Bengals. Boye Mafe had 9 sacks in his second season and is a Super Bowl champion with the Seahawks last season. B.J. Hill he's been a very solid player. He's been with the Bengals for a few years. Miles Murphy led the Bengals in sacks last year with 5.5 sacks, which wasn't amazing, but if you think about it, he was only 3.5 sacks from a 9-sack season. So, he didn't do great, but he led the Bengals in sacks, and I think Miles Murphy is a very young player, and I think he's only gonna get better. Similarly to Shamir Stewart, I think they're only gonna get better, and they're still very young players who have a lot left in this league. And yeah, we'll see how Cassius Howell does. I have high hopes for him. Chris Jenkins, one of the veterans who we signed from the Texans, I think like 1 or 2 years ago. And I think, obviously very disappointing season for the defense last year, but I think the Bengals are going to have one of the biggest defensive comebacks in the NFL, and I think they are going to be super effective on defense. I'm really excited to see what they can do with all these new players and current players who are only getting better. And yeah, I'm going to have to rate the defensive line. Obviously I haven't seen them play yet. Last season they played very poorly, which I hate to say, but I can't deny it. And with these new additions, I honestly think they're going to be much better. But for the sole reason that I haven't seen them play yet, I'm going to put them, I want to say like a B plus. I want to put them in B plus because they're looking very solid. The roster changes and just how they're looking in the depth chart, but I haven't seen them play yet, so I can't just say S tier. I'm going to be fair here. I'm going to say B plus. I think they're going to be very solid. Moving on to the offensive line. This is probably the group position I know the least about, so I do apologize. But I definitely do know some of these players. We have Orlando Brown Jr., Dylan Fairchild, Ted Karras, Dalton Reisner, Amarius Mims, Jalen Rivers, Cody Ford, Connor Lew, Brian Parker II, Andrew Coker, Javon Foster, Jacob Bayer, Liam Brown, Christian Jones, and Corey Robinson II. So, Orlando Brown Jr., very, very good offensive lineman. Played with the Ravens and Chiefs before being traded to the Bengals in 20. I want to say he was traded to the Bengals in 2022, I believe. Ted Karras, another great center in my opinion, has a lot of experience in the league. Also, Bengals Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. Dylan Fairchild, I haven't heard much about him, but I don't think he's amazing. I don't think he's that bad either. But I think definitely our stars on the offensive line are Orlando Brown Jr., who's a very solid player. Same with Ted Karras. Amarius Mims, very, very big player. I think 6 foot. I think. Wait, how tall? He was like. I think he was 6'7", but I want to see. Let's see. Okay, yeah, he's 6'8", 6'8", 350 pounds. So very, very big offensive lineman, which definitely helps with that. And something a little funny. When I went to the Bengals versus Cardinals game, I went to that game in person in Cincinnati, and they actually did a trick play where Joe Burrow threw a pass to Cody Ford, offensive lineman, and Cody Ford almost scored a touchdown, which was really exciting to see, and that was a super fun game to watch. But yeah, I think like I said, this is probably the position group I know the least about. So I don't have a lot of knowledge on them, but I want to say I'm gonna go. Wow, I really don't know like a lot. I'd have to do more research, but I'm gonna say like C plus, maybe B or B minus. I do think Orlando Brown Jr. and Ted Karras are great players, but I don't know too much about the rest of our main starters, and I'm not too sure if they're like super great players. Obviously, I believe in every Bengals player, and I know that they can all become great players, but I just don't know. I really don't know too much. So for that, I think I'm going to put them. I don't think they have been the greatest offensive line. I think Joe Burrow has been sacked a lot of times in a few different seasons. So I'm gonna say B minus or C plus for the offensive lineman group. Next up, we have the running backs. All right, I'm excited for this one because I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but I think Chase Brown is a really underrated running back. And I think he can be very effective when the offensive line, when he's getting good blocks by the offensive line. I think Chase Brown is very effective. Obviously, he's not definitely one of the smaller running backs, but I think he is very strong and built, and I think he's very fast. And honestly, I think he's very underrated. I think he's very effective. Wasn't having a lot of rushing yards in the beginning of the season, but during the end, he had multiple 100-yard rushing games, and I believe he had 1,000 yards. If not, he had like 954 rushing yards. And also like with such a talented wide receiver core, they're obviously going to be geared more towards passing the ball. So it's going to be harder for Chase Brown to get runs, but I do think he is a very underrated running back, and I think he can be very effective. And Samaje Perine. Oh, sorry. I didn't name all the players. Chase Brown, Samaje Perine, Taj Brooks, Gary Brightwell, Kendall Milton, Kentrell Bullock, and Jamal Haynes. I have heard about Samaje Perine. Played for the. He played for the. He played for the Browns. I think. Yeah, no, he played for the Browns, and I feel like he played for the Broncos. Let me double check that. He is 30 years old, so he's definitely on the older side. Oh yeah, he's played for a lot of teams actually. He's played for the Commanders, Bengals, Dolphins, Broncos, and Chiefs. Wait. Yeah, or I guess he hasn't played for the Browns. Sorry, but he has played for the Broncos. And he's definitely older, but I think he's gotten a good amount of touchdowns. Yeah. Yeah, he's obviously not like the greatest receiver, but I think we can use him a lot at like the 1 yard rushing touchdown. He's definitely not the worst player. He's had a very long career, and I think he's definitely regressed a little bit since he's getting older. But overall, I think he's honestly not that bad. And I'm gonna have to put the running back position. Honestly, I really like Chase Brown. I think he can. I feel like he's similar to Joe Mixon. Not super tall, but very, very built. I think they have a very similar playing style, and I want to put the running back. I don't think Chase Brown has a lot. I don't think they have like a great wide running back too. So I'm gonna say like a B minus or a B. But I really like Chase Brown, and I think he's really effective. But just because of him not having a lot of good backups to support him, I'm gonna have to put them in a B minus or maybe even C plus, which is unfortunate. But I do really like Chase Brown. And next up we have specialists. We have Evan McPherson at kicker. I don't know. No, I do not know how to pronounce his last name, so I apologize. Ryan Rehkow, Rehkow, and William Wagner. So Evan McPherson, drafted 5th round by the Bengals in 2021, same season Jamar was drafted. That season he had 5 game-winning field goals, 2 of which were in the postseason. One was against the Tennessee Titans, which was like a 51-yard field goal to win the game. And then the other was against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, where he hit I think it was a 31-yard field goal to win the game to bring them to the Super Bowl. And yeah, no, Evan McPherson, he's very good in my opinion. One of the best kickers in the league, very young. I think the Bengals are definitely want to keep him. Very good player. He hit a 62-yarder against the Patriots last season, and I got to watch that game. And yeah, it was 10.5, and he's just a very, very solid kicker. Doesn't miss much. Very reliable for hitting those 50-yard field goals. But just very reliable in general. Very, very clutch kicker, and I think he has a lot to come. And I believe he's already in the top 5 Bengals all-time scorers. So I think he has a great career ahead of him. And I don't know. I mean, I know who Ryan Rehkow is, our punter. If I'm being honest, I don't know much about him. I don't know how good of a punter he is. So I can't really give him a rating. But so honestly, for the specialist, I'm gonna have to go with a solid. I'm gonna go with a solid A, maybe even A plus. I think I'm gonna go A though, cause I really love Evan McPherson, but I think in order to go S tier, he would have to be like Justin Tucker in his prime. So I'm gonna put Evan McPherson in A tier. Very very amazing kicker, and I think he's gonna progress. He's not that old, pretty young, and I think he has a lot more in the tank. And our last, oh sorry, no, not our last position. We have four more to go. Sorry, I don't know why I said last. At number 7, we have the safety position, which includes Brian Cook, Jordan Battle, Kyle Duggar, P.J. Jules, Dejon Anthony, Russ Yeast, and Isaiah. I apologize if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Isaiah Nwakobia. Yeah, so obviously we added Brian Cook, which was one of the best safeties, if not the best safety in free agency, and I'm super excited to see what Brian Cook can cook up. No pun intended. I'm really excited to see what he can do in the Bengals. Jordan Battle, another very young player who is definitely proving himself, and I think he's only gonna. Oh, I apologize for that. I did not mean to click that. Anyways, yeah. So I think Jordan Battle is gonna be a much better safety in the years to come, and I think Brian Cook, who is definitely one of the veteran players, is definitely gonna be a great role model for Jordan Battle and Kyle Duggar, another veteran who is 30 years old. We got him. He was on the Patriots, and I'm really excited to see what this defense can do. We've made a lot of improvements. I'm just really excited, and yeah, I think we have a very solid safety position, and I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say B or B plus. Like I said, I've never seen Brian Cook play. He hasn't played in a game yet. I've seen him in some OTA videos, and he's looking very solid. He's looking like a role model. And he really loves football. And I think he's going to be very solid, but obviously I haven't seen him play yet, so I'm going to say B or B plus for the safety position. Next up, we have cornerback, which includes Dax Hill, DJ Turner II, Takario Davis, Jalen Davis, DJ Ivy, Josh Newton, Jasir Taylor, Jalen Kimber, Braylon Lux, and Sire Wright. So I think the cornerback position is also another B range tier. DJ Turner II, I've said this many times, but one of the most underrated cornerbacks in the league, in my opinion. Excuse me. Was second in the league in passes defended. He had 2 interceptions, drafted in the second round in 2023. And very young player, and I think he has a lot more to come. Rocking the number 0 now, which I think is a super clean number. Yeah, I really like the number 0, which DJ Turner II will be playing. And Takario Davis will be taking jersey number 20, which was DJ Turner's old number. Yeah, I haven't done like a crazy amount of research on the draft, and so I don't know too much about Takario Davis, but I'm really excited to see what the rookie can do. And Dax Hill, number 23. Dax Hill, also one of the younger players. I think he's a solid player as well. Only 25 actually. Yeah, he had 2 interceptions in 2023. He also had 11 passes defended in both 2023 and this past season. I think he's definitely a solid cornerback as well. Not amazing, but definitely not bad either. I think, he can definitely be a good cornerback. And yeah, no, sorry, Takario Davis, he's 6'4", 200 pounds. So he's a very tall cornerback, and I really want to see how that goes. I think he definitely has a lot of potential. He looks very solid, very tall player. So I'm excited to see. How that goes. I think Takario Davis has a lot of potential. I really like his build. Yeah, I really like a tall cornerback, especially because Dax Hill and DJ Turner aren't like that. They're not that tall, so I think having a 6'4" cornerback is gonna be really good to back them up. So I'm gonna say B tier for the cornerbacks as well. Maybe even B plus. I'm gonna say B though. I think I'll go with a B. That's very fair. I think DJ Turner though, him alone, I would say like an A tier. But overall, I'm gonna say B tier for the cornerbacks. DJ Ivy, 7th round pick by the Bengals in like 2025, I believe, and he had a pretty tough injury where he had to be carted out. So I hope he's doing okay. But yeah, moving on to the tight end position, we have Drew Sample, Mike Gesicki, Tanner Hudson, Eric All Jr., Jack Andrews, Cam Grandy, and Josh Caddis. I really like the Bengals tight ends. I think they're also very solid. I think Mike Gesicki is really underrated. I really like he's honestly I want to look them up because I feel like Mike Gesicki would probably be our tight end number 1. But yeah, I really like Mike Gesicki. He played for the Dolphins and Patriots. I'm gonna look up his stats. He's 6'6", 245 pounds, so pretty big guy. He had 665 receiving yards with the Bengals in 2024, and 307 receiving yards last season. But I think like I said, like with players like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I think it's definitely harder to spread the ball around. But no, I think these guys are really solid. I believe, was it Drew? I think it may have been Tanner Hudson. Yeah, no, I think it was Tanner Hudson that had an insane one-handed touchdown against the Ravens on Thanksgiving Night Football. It was like a 19-yard touchdown that Joe Burrow threw, and it was like a one-handed catch by Tanner Hudson, which I was like screaming when that happened. That was amazing. I was super shocked, and that was a great play by him. And I think our tight ends are very solid. Like I said, they don't get like a lot of passing yards because of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but I think these guys are very solid. And I'm gonna have to put them. I'm gonna say B tier again. I think a lot of these position groups are B tier. There's not. I think Mike Gesicki is definitely our number 1. But yeah, I'm gonna put B tier for the tight ends. And for our last position group, we have the linebackers. This, in my opinion, is probably our weakest position out of the whole team. We have Demetrius Knight Jr., Barrett Carter, Oren Burks, Shaka Hayward, Joe Gills Harris, Sways Bozeman, I apologize if I'm pronouncing this name wrong, Antoine Powell Ryland, Jack Dingle, Eric Gentry, and Liam Anderson. I definitely think this is our weakest position. I don't know a lot about these guys. I'm gonna see Demetrius Knight's stats. He's very, very young player, so I think he will definitely progress with time. But okay, no, never mind. He actually did pretty good in my opinion. He had 2 interceptions. He had 7 passes defended, a forced fumble, 3 sacks. He had 106 combination tackles. So actually, honestly, scratch that. I think Demetrius Knight is also pretty underrated, and he's very young. And this was his first year with the Bengals. Wait. Yeah, no, this is so okay. He's a bit of an older college player, but this is his first year with the Bengals, and he's putting up these numbers, and I think that's really solid. I think he's pretty underrated. So I have to say, these players are pretty young. Barrett Carter, another player who was in his first year at the Bengals, had 1 interception, 4 passes defended, 0 sacks. So not an amazing performance, but Demetrius Knight is our number 1 linebacker. So I think honestly, I think the linebackers definitely have potential. But Demetrius Knight Jr. I think he's pretty underrated in my opinion. I like what he's doing for the team, and like I said, these players are very new, so I think they're gonna progress with time, and I'm actually really excited to see what he can do next year. And I'm gonna have to say, I want to say I'm gonna have to say either C plus or B minus. But I think these guys are so young, so I think they're definitely gonna improve with time. But for now, I'm gonna say like maybe even a C plus, B minus, probably like in the C plus range. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. Yeah, like I said, if I can't upload daily, I really apologize. I'm really trying to focus on a big Bengals project I have started today, and it'll probably definitely take me over a year. But yeah, it's also a little harder to make content in the off season because there's less to talk about. But when the 2026 season starts, I'll definitely have more videos to talk about. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys, learned a little bit more about these players and how I think they are and how I think they will be in the future. I think this team has a lot of potential, a lot of young players, and some veteran players to help coach them and be their mentor. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And hoo day.